I dream of. This the life that I dream of. This the life that I...
Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, Fit 360 over 40. If it's your first time here, hi, I'm Ashley, and I hope you're having a productive day. So, I'm going to be trying an experiment over the next week. So to give you a little bit of background as to why I'm doing this experiment, we got new insurance at our jobs this year, and our insurance is linked up through Go 365, which is a wellness program. It has an app. You get points for activities, for tracking your food, for completing health surveys, doing challenges, things like that. And as part of it, it tracks your activity, which means you need an activity tracker connected to the app so that it can give you points towards a future discount on your insurance. Well, back in December, I decided, maybe November, it was November or December, decided I would go with the Fitbit Versa 2 as my activity tracker. I've had, every activity tracker I've ever had has been a Fitbit, going all the way back, I think, to the Fitbit Flex, which was the little armband. And I've just always, I like the Fitbit app, and so that's just what I chose to go with. So then we get into January, and my husband decides he wants to get some kind of fitness tracker, but he doesn't need a smartwatch type because he has a watch already. So he decides he wants to go with the Garmin vivosmart 4. So he orders it, comes in, and he meant to order a large and accidentally ordered a small, so it doesn't fit his wrist. So he ordered the large, and the large got here. And you have a 30-day window, to return his mistake. And he starts going to the gym and starts exercising. And I'm consistently, on my active days, getting 10 points from the Fitbit. He's getting 35 to 45 points using the Garmin. We're doing the exact same thing. I track it in here. Like I hit the exercise button. I track the exercise. We're doing the same thing, but his is better suited for Go 365 maybe, or something. So I thought I'd run an experiment for a week. So I'm wearing both of them. I have the Fitbit Versa on my non-dominant hand, which is my left hand, and I have the Garmin vivosmart 4 on my right hand, my dominant hand. The settings are set up for the appropriate hand that it's on. And I'm going to wear them for a week, and I'm going to compare the heart rates. I'm going to compare the steps. I'm going to compare the sleep pattern. And I'm going to make a decision on which one I'm going to move forward with long term. So I will be documenting that process, what I see, what differences I see from an actual user perspective. What I can tell you right away, and this is a personal preference thing, this is kind of just black, and there's no way you can't take the like actual device part out and put it in different bands, which is one thing I really do like about Fitbit products, because they set theirs up where you can customize. I have a whole pack of different colored bands that you can wear that are different, that you match outfits. So I do like that customization is there. And this doesn't have that. It's just inside whatever band it comes in. However, if I get, triple the amount of points using the Garmin than the Fitbit, it doesn't make sense to keep the Fitbit. So, over the next week, I'm going to be wearing both of them and doing some comparisons. And at the end of the week, I will give a full rundown and share which one I'm going to go with. So, here starts my experiment. Okay, guys, I'm back. We're going to discuss my final decision between the Fitbit Versa 2 and the Garmin vivosmart 4. So I've been wearing both of these now for a week, and I have made my choice on which one is going to be my main tracker that I'm going to wear all the time. So I have a list. I took some notes. I made sure I was very thorough in this thought process, because this is it's a pretty big decision, because this factors into helping me get my discount with my insurance. So here's the categories that I looked at for both the Garmin and the Fitbit. So I looked at step tracking, sleep tracking, exercise tracking, heart rate tracking, menstrual cycle tracking, intensity minutes, stress tracking, body battery, sleep oxygen levels, calorie tracking, how it works with Go 365, our wellness program for work, the interface of the wearable device, the app overall, so the app on the phone, how it works, how it syncs with my apps, and battery life. So those are all the criteria I looked at, and I picked a winner for each category. So I will tell you, before I start reading out the readouts, I have decided that my main activity tracker is going to be the Garmin vivosmart 4. So I will go through the categories, tell you why. So for step tracking, I picked the Garmin. One thing I noticed between the Garmin and the Fitbit is that you do get a few false readings with the Fitbit. From just sitting, I talk a lot with my hands, and it was giving me step credit for things that weren't steps. So while the Garmin always had a lower step count, I felt like it was more accurate to my actual steps and not giving false readings on things that weren't steps. Other than that, nothing else was really different between the two. As far as steps go, one graph isn't better than the other graph when it comes to steps. I just noticed that the Garmin seems to give less false readings. For sleep tracking, I gave it to the Garmin. Garmin has better graphs and better descriptions of your sleep cycles in the app versus Fitbit. The Fitbit gives you, it's how many minutes you have in each cycle. It did seem that the Garmin is, at least for me, a little more accurate on my awake time than the Fitbit was. So the sleep tracking is just a little more detailed in the Garmin. Exercise tracking, I gave this one to the Garmin as well. Both can be started from the wearable device. You can set up what exercises you have in your menu for your wearable, so that you can pick, strength training, bike, elliptical, whatever. So that both devices do that. But the Garmin has more detailed results of your workout. So it tracks where your heart rate was multiple times throughout the workout. So it tells you how much was it of high intensity, how much was it regular intensity, how much was it moderate intensity, and it gives you a calorie readout. The Fitbit is not that detailed. It just tells you, there's a graph that tells you when you're in the fat burning zone and when you're not. It's not as detailed. The heart rate tracking I gave again to the Garmin. It tracks your resting and active heart rate, tells you if you're within the range for those heart rates. It also provides a weekly and daily summary. So on the page, when you first log in, your launch page, it lists what yesterday's summary was, and it lists the whole previous week's summary of your heart rate. So I really liked that. Menstrual cycle tracking, I also gave to the Garmin. Both of them let you track your menstrual cycle, so you can put in when it starts, when it ends. But the Garmin lets you customize your own cycle. So if you have a longer cycle, standard cycle is 28 days. My cycle tends to be closer to 29 or 30 days between my periods. So it lets you customize the length of the cycle, as well as you can track your mood, you can track your symptoms, and you can track flow. So it gives you a lot more things you can track, so you can tell if something is off. later on. So I really liked the amount that you could track when it comes to the menstrual tracking. Intensity minutes is only available with the Garmin. It tells you how many, you can set a goal for how many intensity minutes you want to have in your week. And then it tracks how many minutes of your workouts are intensity minutes and tells you if you've hit your goal at the end of the week or not. Stress tracking only in the Garmin. Oops, I dropped my notes, guys. The stress tracking tells you based on your heart rate and things, are you feeling stressed out? Are you feeling stressed? And gives you like a stress score. The Fitbit doesn't really do anything like that. I dropped my notes again, guys. Wow. Butterfingers over here. Body battery is really cool. So it, based on your activity, it gives you how many of your body battery you're burned. Now, the body battery is like just like any other battery. It's 100%. And it tells you how much you burned in your workout. It tells you how much you burned in your day. It tells you how much you replenished. And then typically when you wake up in the morning, you're back at 100%. So it's kind of cool to see that. And you can see what your body battery is at in the wearable as well. So it's just neat to know how much you're, putting in and out. Then there is the sleep oxygen levels, which is also Garmin only. What is really neat about this is it gives you a little graph of each night of where your oxygen level is at. Tracks it only when you're sleeping. So it's not something it continuously tracks. But if you're in certain ranges, it tells you what range you're in. It may be telling you if you do or don't have sleep apnea because of where your oxygen levels are. The app says you should be at 90% or above while you're sleeping. My average has been 92%, so I'm well where I should be. So, but it is a good indicator if you have had trouble sleeping to wear that, and it will tell you if you're within your oxygen ranges that you should be or not. Calorie tracking, I also gave this one to the Garmin. It shows how many calories you burn in a day. It also shows how many calories you burned resting versus how many calories you've got active for the day. And in your daily summary from the day before and your rolling 7-day summary tells you your average calories that you've burned as well. For the wearable interface, this one I gave it a tie. Now, we're not comparing apples to apples because the Fitbit Versa 2 is more like a smartwatch, whereas the vivosmart 4 is more like a fitness wearable. So there's a lot of smartwatch features that the Versa 2 has. I gave it a tie because when I compared the stuff that I use, they're pretty equal. You can start your workout from the wearable on both of them. You can customize your display on what you want to see. So that's pretty even. I don't use any of the smartwatch features. It's not something I'm into. I don't text from it or listen to music from it or anything like that. So that part wasn't necessarily important to me. What Fitbit does have over the Fitbit Versa has over the vivosmart 4 is you can customize the band, so you can take a band off, put a different color band on, whereas this is just one solid piece and you can't really undo it and put a new color on. Overall app performance, I really, really, really like the Garmin. It has amazing stats readouts. So it gives you a breakdown. You can customize your homepage to show all the different stats you want to see. And then it gives you a detailed summary of daily and weekly. And it's just really detailed. If I didn't film on my phone, I could show you. Maybe I'll try to insert a screenshot of what the details that it gives you. But the overall app, I'm really impressed with the Garmin and what it shows you. For syncing, the Garmin is way better at syncing with the Garmin app than the Fitbit is with the Fitbit app. I actually have had to reset up my Fitbit several times because it wasn't syncing. So I had to forget the device and then re-add the device because it wasn't syncing properly. But the Garmin, I've had no issues. It syncs more consistently, stays connected better. As soon as I go in, it syncs up. A lot of times, most of it's already synced. Battery life, I found it's better with the Garmin. Now, that could be biased because the Fitbit Versa is more of a smartwatch, so it may actually use more battery because of those things. And also because of the connection issues, that could also have been causing it to drain battery more. But the Garmin, I only had to charge one time the whole week. And the Fitbit, I had to charge twice. And it's about to be a third time that I have to charge it. So I feel like the battery life is better on the Garmin, at least for what I need. And then the last one was the Go 365 interface and how it interacts with Go 365. Definitely give this to the Garmin. You get more points awarded for your activities. So with Fitbit and Go 365, it only counts steps. And the max that you can get point-wise in a day for your steps is 10. Doesn't matter. You have to hit, I think it's like 25,000 steps in a day to go up another level for points. So the Fitbit only tracks steps. Whereas with the Garmin, it gives you the most points based on 3 different things. So it looks at your steps, it looks at your heart rate, and it looks at calories burned. And whichever one is going to give you the most points, that's what points you get. So, for example, it's 5 points for every 100 calories burned. So yesterday in my workout, I burned 720 calories. So I got 35 points yesterday. If I was connected with my Fitbit, I would have only gotten 10 points because it does not account for any of those other things. If my heart rate had been in I think there's a certain range. If it had been in the range and that would have given me 40 points, then I would have gotten 40 points. So it looks at those 3 things and gives you the best points based on your activity. So that was a big game changer for me because to get our discount, we have to get 5,000 points. We have to get to silver level. And 10 points versus 35 points for a workout, that's a significant difference. It's also syncs a little bit better with the Garmin seems to sync better with Go 365. There's really nothing else it pulls other than the activities, but that's a huge difference. 10 points is max with Fitbit. And there's not necessarily a max with the Garmin. It's just more about how many points you earn for one of those 3 activities and giving you the highest possible points. So that's why I've decided to wear the Garmin full time. It's the only one I'm going to wear. It's a great wearable. It's a great device. No shade to Fitbit. It's a good device. It's more basic. So if you're just starting out with fitness trackers, the Fitbit's a good option. But I really was very impressed with the Garmin. I like it a lot, and that's the one I'm going to go with. So I hope you enjoyed my little rundown spiel of why I chose the Garmin. I highly recommend it if you're looking for a wearable. It's a good one. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You can hit the bell next to the subscribe button, be notified of all my future uploads. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.